So Tulsi Gabbard has demanded no war with Iran and says there is no American victory in the Middle East. So this Tulsi has gone on a almost like a speaking tour is what I want to call it, but she has made this case repeatedly over and over again over the last since Friday, right? She tweeted this out. We need to get out of Iraq and Syria. Oh, this is an older one. No, that's it. Yeah. We need to get out of Iraq and Syria now. That is the only way that we're going to prevent ourselves from being dragged into this quagmire deeper and deeper into war with Iran. So she had that statement on Twitter just on Sunday. She had a couple of very speaking engagements where she talked about this. We actually covered a little bit. She went on Fox News, Fox and Friends, actually, and spoke with this, which is so interesting on that point. Democrats will do a lot of pearl clutching and get really mad. How dare you go on Fox News? They're so mean. They have Tucker Carlson, and they're a bunch of racists and xenophobes, and how dare you? How dare you? Well, they're not having Tulsi Gabbard on CNN or MSNBC or PBS. You know what? You know who watches Fox and Friends? You know who watches Tucker Carlson? Donald Trump watches that shit. Mm-hmm. So you want to get a message to Donald Trump? Getting on Fox and Friends is a pretty good idea. And that was a pretty direct message of like, no, this is an act of war. This breaks all international norms. This does not make us any safer. This was unjustified. One of the big things that she's been mentioning also, her big, what did she say? Basically, she's saying there's no end game. Mm-hmm. Which is a similar critique than she's had about a lot of wars. It's a really excellent critique to have and direction to go when talking about, hey, you want to get us into war and you've got some pretext for it that not everyone buys. Let's pretext aside. What's the end goal here? What are you trying to do? Mm-hmm. What are you trying to do over there? How long are you going to be there? When do you get back? What's the plan? Huh? Mm-hmm. What are you doing over there? Because that's ultimately what it was. Like, that'll stop it because there appears to be no plan, right? Yeah. He's like, let's just bomb this guy. Okay, what are we going to do now? All right, more bombs. Yeah. More bombs.
Yeah, I mean, I think really, the plan goes so many ways, but I think one of the main plans, if you want to call it that, for Trump specifically is like maybe a re-election plan. You know, it's like, oh, hey, if we kill the head guy of Iranian forces, then I'm going to win re-election. I'm going to be seen as this really manly, presidential, powerful man, and my base and, independents alike will all want to vote for me because everybody now feels safer. And I think that is largely what Trump's estimation of this attack was. Not to mention, of course, there's also speculation going on that it's to draw people's attention away from impeachment. Mm-hmm.
Sort of the comparison with Desert Fox, right? With the Clinton. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so, I guess as far as a long-term plan, no, no, not at all. And I guess really the only other long-term plan, that plays exactly in the hands into the military-industrial complex anyway, right? Which is, let's just have endless war for many reasons, which actually one of the stories coming up we're going to be getting into. A few of the big reasons we get ourselves into endless war, but this story and, of course, money is really, I think, one of the reasons having a plan is actually not in the interest of the people who are waging these wars.
So I would put it differently. There is a plan. It's not the kind of plan you want to share with other people, because the plan is basically like, no, stay at war, because then my buddies get to make a lot of money making the weapons, right? We can have these contracts where they make the money making the weapons. We're going to go over there. We're going to kill a bunch of people and destabilize a country. And then we're going to have that government acquiesce to our government, and we'll get really cheap oil. And you know what? They're going to need to rebuild. So we're going to charge them, my other buddies that run these contracting stuff, they're going to help them rebuild as we bomb their neighbors. Because then, we're going to have to weapons contracts to bomb their neighbors, because then, they'll acquiesce to us and give us free stuff, and then we can charge them to rebuild while we bomb their neighbors. So we can just keep doing this forever.
Right.
Right.
And that is the plan, not
the plan is war is a racket.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And these like spikes in action, right, in war come around at really useful times for the people in power. And I guess that's really what I'm pointing to, because we were already in an endless war in this region. This was just an opportunity to, I guess, wag the dog, as they say, which, I mean, does a pretty decent job of really getting people pissed off and wanting to continue.
Was this a wag the dog situation? I have to think about that.
Yeah.
It seemed like it came out of the blue. Like, it seemed like it was Trump wanted something to do. It's like
yeah,
Trump,
but they've been doing this shit about like, oh, no, Iran didn't. Oh, it was actually Yemen.
Yeah.
Or like, all of these, like, let's blame Iran for all of these strikes when there's no actual evidence for it. Just keep bringing this shit up in the news so that people who aren't really paying attention start to think, oh, maybe there is something going on over there. Maybe there is something to actually be worried about. I kind of feel like this conversation's been going on for a little bit.
Yeah, no, it has.
Yeah.
And I should rephrase. I don't mean that the strike against Iran came out of the blue.
Oh, okay.
I mean that the strike specifically against Soleimani. It's like, because the lead up to that was, okay, an Iraqi-aligned militia group that is operating on the border with Syria had somebody, it's unclear, but one individual fires a shoulder-mounted rocket at this American embassy compound, kills one contractor and injures a few others. In retaliation, the United States goes to this part of, this militia group that, again, has been absorbed into the Iraqi military, says
they're funded by Iran, though, right?
We are alleging that. We are alleging that they are taking marching orders from Iran. Like, every step of the way, it was like, hey, so this militia group.
So this is what our intelligence says.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So, like, this militia group that is part of the Iraqi army attacked your base in Iraq, and you said it was Iran. And they were like, no, but it was us. And then you killed 25 of them and injured 100 more, and said that you were doing it in retaliation for what Iran was doing. They're like, but it was us. Like, we're not, like, we have allegiance or alliance rather with Iran. Like, we're friends. Like, Iran also is allied with Lebanon in the region and Syria in the region. Like, they're the big military in the region, and Iraq is next door, and they kind of they're not as loggerheads as they were 30 years ago, right? There's a lot more solidarity between, like, I fucking hate these Americans always here,
I know, like, when are they gonna get
this,
the
like,
fuck out?
Okay, this militia group, this Iraqi militia group that's part of the Iraqi military has been smeared as acting under the direction of Iran repeatedly, and then we take out a specific general who wasn't even named in any of that beforehand anyway, and be like, yeah, well, he was the one that orchestrated it. Do you have any evidence of that? Do you have anything to support the claim that this foreign general is directing a militia group that has been absorbed into a different foreign army? What are you talking about? That's nonsense. All of this is nonsense. And the other thing, the whole, like, we're going to get him because he was plotting stuff. We'll talk more about that later. But, like, that
actively
crimes are not a
plotting things, don't you know?
Yeah,
I mean,
so
I've actively plotted a lot of things, I'm sure, and have not actually followed through on much of any of them. So yeah, absolutely. You can definitely say that and actually not be lying in a lot of ways. But
this whole thing is, I mean, I've been going over and over. There's so much that goes around trying to blame Iran that I'm like, does any of that actually even tie back to Iran at all?
Yeah, because I had even personally heard that it was Iranian-backed Iraqi militia.
Allegedly Iranian-backed.
Allegedly Iranian-backed Iraqi militia.
Who's alleging? We are. America is alleging.
So that was an American intelligence speculation, just theory.
I don't
smear.
know. They have you could call it whatever you want. At this point, it is an accusation.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
That is as much as it is.
Backed by nothing more than
it is an empty
our
accusation.
Trust in our government.
And,
Well, good news.
This would be the first time America's ever made an accusation that turned out to not be true. So we got to trust it, right?
Yeah, trust it as far as I can throw it.
Anyway, I
How do
wanted
take
to
up a
end with
government?
this one, because we've gotten so far off track with what Tulsi
yeah.
was saying. But
Yeah.
I wanted to end with this quote because it was good. Trump's policies are short-sighted, damaging and undermining our national security. We need to get out of Iraq and Syria, bring our troops home, Gabbard said, adding that the only way to prevent being, quote, dragged deeper and deeper into another, this is the only way to prevent being dragged deeper and deeper into another endless war.